Welcome back to VR Chat. Today we're talking about a VR chat predator that'll make you wish you hadn't clicked on today's video. I know they make me wish that I never had a pair of retinas to begin with. Since I'm currently in the middle of working on a documentary, I figured it was realistically going to take me a bit longer than I intended. Better not to rush these kind of things, so in the meantime, here's a proper expose video. The VR chat predator we'll be talking about today is a user by the name of Racoon.DT. I can't believe raccoons are being tainted for me like this. They're so adorable. Who doesn't love a good trash panda? But this one is not adorable. In fact, I'd say far from it, to be honest with you. He's got the raccoon phone case, which is the only cool thing about this guy, let me say. Why exactly is this the only one cool thing about this guy? Well, let's get down to brass tacks. Also, sorry, something I'm noticing before we even start. Does that say 100 gifted VR Chat Plus members? 100?! Racoon.DT, otherwise known as Jason, is a 27-year-old man playing VR Chat. At the time of these events unfolding with an underage victim, he was 24. A report was made on this individual to my case ticketing team, and according to the victim's testimony, he wanted to be in a poly relationship with both her and her friend, who was a year younger than her. Jason was 10 years older than this victim and 11 years older than the other at the time. On top of this, Racoon solicited this underage victim for explicit photos and wanted to be the person in charge, a classic example of grooming. Jason also obviously has a Discord with his age provided, which confirms that he's currently 27, as that's where the message's evidence comes into play. And of course, he's got a link to his Steam page that tells us very little information about him. But from his Steam page, we were able to confirm that he has an unhealthy obsession with VR chat. A total of 4,240.8 hours in a span of 3 years. Pretty sure the or even make new friends part of your review shouldn't also include individuals under the legal age of consent, but considering the situation, I suppose the certainty has gone out the window given your horrific actions. He also plays Rainbow Six Siege. Now I can't talk down on him for that, but we all know Siege players can get a little frustrated now and then. I relate to that heavily. Easy. Still got you on my background, but you should come over.
Yeah, I will.
So we can have couple go backgrounds.
Not right now. I had a dream about you.
One creepy message out of thousands more. The evidence begins with I Eat Your Muffin, aka Racoon.DT, who starts by DMing this underage victim explicit messages. Please note that I have organized these according to their day, month, and year for an overall better and more organized viewing experience. Still got you on my background, but you should come over. You'd probably bring them to an island with this particular mansion. Oh my goodness. It'd be classified as a federal crime, by the way. Enticing a child is genuinely not acceptable in any way, shape, or form, and it is punishable by law. So we can have couple goal backgrounds. Like, I'm sorry, what? You are 10 years older than this victim, and I know you understand right from wrong because you're even 2 years older than me, so what's the deal, dude? If you want, I'll take you out on a date to your local police department. How's that sound? That's true couple goals right there. Sorry to my wife, Shronzina, by the way. Here's where it gets much worse. I had a dream about you. Tell me, Jason states. To which she responds, you tried to break up with me because I was too young. And Jason himself repeats the victim's age and is fully aware. All it takes is one Google search to understand these basic laws, and instead he decides to let her navigate the conversation. Not only is this claim completely false and dangerous, but it's also a common predator excuse to just use manipulation or misinformation. Here's the truth. Yes, the age of consent is lower in this country, but it's 18 minus 2, not 18 minus 6, like Racoon is attempting to manipulate this victim into thinking. This point doesn't even matter though. Online solicitation of a whole of an underage individual is a crime regardless. It does not matter if there's no physical contact. It does not matter if the adult is in another country. Belgium, the country that Racoon is from, also has extraterritorial laws, meaning citizens can be charged at home for child grooming or abuse committed online, even if the victim is in another country. You don't need to go and meet the underage person to go to prison. What a horrid thing to say in request from an underage person. I'm glad that they didn't have any of these photos of themselves when they were younger. Speaking of which, if you or someone you know is struggling with having your explicit images strung up on the internet somewheres, head over to the NCMEC site and find your way to their Take It Down page, where you or anyone else can file a report to request a hash value. With this hash value, they assign it to your photos, and upon doing so, the NCMEC and other secure parties will seek out these photos and delete them or expunge them from the internet on your behalf. They began briefly talking about a show named Big Mouth, which I personally never cared to watch, as at the time I was too busy watching Castlevania and being in high school. And here it comes again. So when your naughty pics, and he uses the stupid sponge daddy emoji. I can't stand when people use these emojis after requesting the most disgusting and heinous things from others. You are so incredibly fake. I am corny, like TMI, dude. As everyone on TikTok is currently saying, sai bao.
Oh, surely you got some oopsie pics, Nike.
I think he meant to say like, not Nike. Or Nike. You're 100% a perv. Surely you won't go deeper into this rabbit hole, actually. Yeah, you probably would, considering Alice is underage in that series too. Damn, boring. He says if his entire personality isn't taking advantage of his victims and playing RuneScape all day. Look, no hate on RuneScape since my name Sileskios is based on a RuneScape character named Sileske. But really, man, RuneScape? 100% feeding you to my pet wildy worm, dude.
What are you doing, naughty pic?
No, obviously this isn't a naughty pic. This is what we call a face reveal. A face reveal that you've just received from a victim that I'm gonna blur. I cannot fathom words to genuinely describe my disgust with this person, so I'll let my commenters take it away. Commenters, how would you describe Jason's actions here, and how does it make you feel? I'm sick, give me a break. Yeah, I'd be sick too if someone was constantly requesting explicit photos of younger me every 5 seconds. Essentially what you're seeing here is Jason begging for explicit photos time and time again. He continues to pressure this underage victim into sending him these photos. He wants these to be a non-blurry, perfect lighting of cat pictures, we'll call them. So he can make a, quote, mess, as we'll call it. Also, you owning these photos would also be another federal crime. Let's not also forget about this winky emoji. These emojis will haunt me till the day I die. Man. Not sure what the victim says here because it's redacted, but this is when he responds with, "Excuse me, be a good puppy and do it right away when your master asks for it." Calling yourself a master when you couldn't even master algebra in high school because you were too busy looking at freshmen as a senior. Be a good puppy. Like, dude, why talk to a kid this way? Do you not have siblings yourself or have anyone in your life like that? Honestly, I sure hope you don't, given your current record and standing with kids. Literally buy your whole household. But could you buy a ticket to a spelling bee? Also, I sincerely doubt you could buy their entire household. You talk about buying her father and her mother's jobs and firing them, and then basically kidnapping this victim. Literally, you aren't the child's parent, and they can do a much better job than you can. You pretend you care when you bring up her father potentially hitting her and talking about child support, but honestly, you're the real danger here, Jason. Oh, you're not going to bed. Send me a full body pic in the cutest pose you can do, and then you don't have to tell anyone about me. This is genuinely so incriminating. First of all, who are you to think that you can dictate when they go to bed or not? Seems like you're really fulfilling that power role in a grooming dynamic. Also, the classic predator line of, keep it secret, nobody has to know. So genuinely disappointing. This leads me to believe that this isn't the first time that you've been with an underage person. Pretty valid crash out response from the victim. He then proceeds to call her a princess and send her emojis, and the bottom part of this message is pretty disappointing, but to be expected of Jason here. He wants her to come over so they can, quote, do the deed, but I don't understand this because Jason, did you miss the entire point where just a minute ago they were freaking out on you for being a weirdo and forcing them to do things? Why don't you pay attention to the red flags? You're the little sub here. Dude, pause. What? Little? Alright, little, that's definitely going into documentation. You are sick, Jason. You better stop this attitude and just sit down right now. Dude, the victim tells Jason that they're not going to sit down. He basically just lets his alpha out and says, stop it or else. And the whole, you don't want to see this angry alpha vibe. Don't figure it out because you won't like it. Dude, it's so unbearably cringe. You know I want a good, obedient pup that follows my every command, so just obey, okay? I'm leaving. I'm done. Goodbye. Bye. To add on to his list of manipulation, he also causes himself to lose IRL HP after making the victim sad. Just another manipulation tactic used by Jason here to earn sympathy from the victim. We see this time and time again amongst predators looking to gain something from their victims. To make matters worse, Jason wound up requesting the victim not to text him anymore since he knows he legally cannot be with this victim until she's 4 years older. again confirming the victim's age for us. It turns out that Jason cheated on this individual with their best friend, and even promised that they wouldn't cheat on them in the first place. There are the darkest and deepest pits for those who commit these kinds of evils against another human being, especially against a kid. Again, for the witnesses, a screenshot where the victim states both of their ages, and the victim talks about how they can't run away because of their parents, and Jason doubles down on this and wants to get her to stand up to her parents so she can run away with him and get married. You wish, dude, you genuinely wish, but that's never gonna happen. Your sick desires will never come to fruition, and you are a disgusting, predatory human being. There are more messages from Jason talking about doing explicit things, being inappropriate, and telling her to be a good girl, calling her a little bunny, thinking he can command her and own her and the situation, but you don't possess that kind of power, Raccoon. You truly never did. I still can't believe you ruined Trash Pandas for me like this. I can't believe this. You wanted them to forget about the past, forget about everyone else, and think about your future. You wanted to be the center of attention, the only figure in her life that had control. Isolation is one of the key tactics of abuse. Jason talks about doing explicit deeds with this victim. Jason, you're quite literally a decade older than this person. You find this appropriate? In what universe is this appropriate? The victim tells him off for it and says, don't be corny then. And here's Jason going, it's nice. I'll tell you what would be nice. You plus prison plus infinity. Screw it, I'm going to Subway. I want to see your explicit photos. And dude is still talking to the victim like this, by the way. And then he proceeds to ask, how can I make you happy? Well, for starters, how about not asking an underage person for explicit photos? That's clearly uncomfortable in this situation entirely. Read the room, read the situation. To make matters worse, we could even address the topic of his VR chat groups, one of them being Diddy's offspring. The quote joke here is in bad taste, especially if you're a genuine predator and if you're that kind of monstrous individual. We could also address your TikTok repost, considering it's a majority of e-girls that you'll never be with, or really weird degen Gruner-like posts, bikers, all sorts of weird things like this one.
5 reasons why I would be a perfect girlfriend. Reason number 1, I get just a tiny bit jealous. Like you smiling at the waitress. Cute. I already know.
Master Chief, you mind telling me why you're looking at VTuber girls? Sir, I'm admiring how cringe the Raccoon guy is. It is a sad day to be a VTuber. After taking a deep dive into Raccoon's profiles for a while, I remember his Snapchat name was provided by the victim, as his name was Jason. So I decided to search this name and was brought to a photo of a very different looking fella in my opinion, so at the time I just decided to write it off. I searched through his profile just out of curiosity, and the name Peter caught my eye as I had seen it under Raccoon's profiles before, so I wrote it down as a possible connection. It wasn't until I checked his Instagram profile again that I saw this name Peter yet again. The same Peter with the same photo that had posted on Facebook, but this time on his actual Instagram. So after checking my sources twice on Instagram and Facebook, I decided to revisit his TikTok, and sure enough, he is followed by the same Peter. I had deduced that this photo of Jason is Jason where he would have been quite a bit younger. Using this newfound information, I gave his father and mother a message on Facebook and let them know about his behavior online with children. I was also able to file a NCMEC report and a report to Child Focus with the information. Jason, it did take me a while since I was unfamiliar with the laws of Belgium and had to do some research, but I hope the law holds you accountable over there. I suppose time will tell if the law and your family hold you accountable. After all of this, I got nothing. No word back from Jason when I reached out, and I knew he was ignoring my every message because we were mutuals in a Discord server. I received an invite to Jason's server that he owned from another victim. I joined the server and pinged everyone to let him know the horrific actions that Jason has committed with a child. I had Stronzina, my partner, join as well, and she reached out to the people in the server to let them know the truth about this horrifying individual. In that server, we were able to gather a face reveal of Jason's that perfectly matched the background of the TikTok profile icon, confirming for both of us once and for all that we had found our guy. In this server was tons of disgusting messages about nudes and other horrible things we both wish we had never seen. Raccoon came online one final time to see his world burning up into flames for his horrible actions with children. He began banning his own friends and banning them quickly to prevent us from spreading the truth about his actions. He banned every single person. All of that so desperately to hide the truth that you can't even begin to outrun.
Connection terminated.
I thank you all for joining me today on this long journey of exposing another VR chat predator degenerate. I hope I've been able to take some of the pressure off of the victims and bring forth awareness to Raccoon's horrible actions. I appreciate you coming on this journey with me and coming forward with your own voices, and I hope to encourage others to do the same.